Well, hello everybody. Nice to see you all again. Thank you for joining me. It's Remembrance weekend this weekend, and I've been asked to carry the standard for the Royal Naval Association over Remembrance weekend, and I thought I'd come here to tell you all about it or what I'm doing now. Normally Rob Wells would carry it. Robbie's managed to get himself off to North Africa to do some surfing because he's a big surfing freak. In fact, he should have joined in the Commander Training Centre. He should have joined the Royal Marines at Poole, and he would have got straight in there. He's got web feet and everything, as you would expect. So anyway, Rob, have a nice time in North Africa, and I'll carry the standard tomorrow with the aid of some ibuprofen. So anyway, so why am I here in Nocton? Well, there's a Commonwealth War Graves section in the graveyard here, and I often come down here and visit it and read the stones. They're mostly of airmen. Of course, I was a naval airman, so we're mostly of airmen because there's obviously the RAF in Lincolnshire is a big thing. But there was a large hospital called Nocton Hall. I believe it's all demolished now or broken. It's been burnt down or something. So yeah, a lot of people in the RAF had connections with Nocton, and so I presume that the guys here maybe they died on the operating table or something like that, or had complications. I don't know, but anyway, they're buried here safely, looked after by the Commonwealth War Graves Commission. And which brings me on to thinking about what do veterans think about who go out on these parades around the country and carry standards and that sort of thing. What's going on in their minds? I thought I'd give you an idea that, well, certainly with the Royal Navy, we obviously remember our service, first of all, and some of the scrapes and instances that we've been in. And you know, but it doesn't stress me out. I do remember them, a few things. And it's all well and good to remember our friends who we lost and while we served, and I lost a few friends on the squadron I was with, funnily enough, and both of them were in aircraft crashes which ditched at sea. One body, one chap was recovered in one, and he ended up a burial at sea because at the time we were at war, and the other chap, fortunately, he didn't recover his body from the helicopter, so we ended up having a memorial service on the quarterdeck for him. But I've been to a few, as I say, and that's what we normally do in the Navy. There's not a gravestone to mark, we've just got the sea itself, and you know, that's how we remember them. We get as close to where they sank if we could at all possible, and we do a remembrance service there. That's how we cover it in the Royal Navy. Now, I'm beginning to think about a ship during the First World War. I thought to use it as a guide for you to try and understand some of the complexities of things. And I'm going to focus on a particular ship called HMHS Glenhart Castle. Glenhart Castle was a hospital ship. She was formerly a merchant Navy ship, and most of the crew were from the Southampton area. But anyway, she was commandeered by the government in the First World War, and she was commandeered and made into a hospital ship. She was painted white and had big red crosses on her. In fact, we had a hospital ship down in the South Atlantic. It was called the Uganda. I think there was some of the service ships, Heckler. I think she was also a hospital ship. So, or a prisoner transfer ship, one of the two. Anyway, so in accordance with the Geneva Convention, or whatever conventions they had at the First World War, I'm not sure whether the Geneva one was applied, was that hospital ships were not to be attacked under any circumstances. And that was an agreement between governments that were at war, that hospital ships sacrosanct. However, in this instance, the Glenhart Castle on the 26th of February 1918, at 4 o'clock in the morning, a U-boat, UC-56, spotted her and then fired 2 torpedoes at her and sank her within 8 minutes. Now, unfortunately, in a hospital ship, she'd sailed the previous evening on the tide from Newport, South Wales, and she was just 10 miles off Hartland Point, which is roughly south of Lundy Island, and getting on the North Devon coast. And yeah, she sank within 8 minutes. But on board her were a load of nurses. Now, they all perished, on the medical staff, doctor, everything. They all perished. Now, what would normally happen is, I'm kind of thinking with nurses, how it affects me and how I think about it. Well, I have family, in my family are nurses. Both my daughters are nursing sisters. I've got Becca Hughes, these are the Lincolnshire Ambulance Service. She's a nursing sister. Beth Hughes, Beth Viv, who she's got married last year, bless her, I must remember her new surname. I'm very proud of her. She's a nursing sister. Right? She lives down in Bournemouth area, and she's in Potter's Bar, I believe, as a nursing sister with a practice there. Amy Hughes, who's my daughter-in-law, okay, she lives in Sleaford, just outside. She's a nursing sister, bless her, married to my son Dave. And my sister, so sister, Andrea Lewis, she's a retired nurse, and she's a veteran as well. She's a Royal Navy veteran, along with her daughter, Claire Lewis, who is a Royal Navy veteran, and she is a nursing sister. All right, and I've got one more, Elaine Hawkins, who's my brother's daughter. She's a retired nursing sister as well. So it's six nurses. So anyway, let's get back to the Glenheart Castle, which is sunk. She's in. She was 6,800 tons. As I say, she sailed from Newport the night before, so they must have been at sea. She was dead at 4. They would have sailed at 10 o'clock probably, and so the nurses would have been turned in, bless them, and they wouldn't have had a chance. You know, get out of bed when it's explosions, lights go out, normal stuff. I mean, even if you're lucky enough to get in the water, you ain't going to survive very long in the water. I mean, I've been in extremely cold water, and I got to within about 10 minutes of falling asleep. I calculated I was going to fall asleep at some point, unless I managed to get out of the water. And luckily, I did manage to get out, and I was rescued. So I know what it's like to have your body shut down when you're in the cold water. It's not very pleasant, and you just kind of drift off as you lose control. However, so whether they made it out of the ship or not, that they all went down, 162 in total. There were some survivors that were picked up later. Some of them maybe got to a lifeboat or something. I'm not too sure. You can research it. So she shouldn't have been attacked. She was on her way to Brest to pick up casualties and survivors from the First World War trenches and stuff, bring them back home. So she shouldn't have been attacked. But so she's there. There's a memorial stone to it, which marks it. So we've got in on Hartland Point on the headland, so you can actually go and see that. Also, recently some divers went down to her, and they did some video, and they got some artifacts down there. They brought them ashore, and one was in particular was a cup, a Union Castle cup, because she was originally a merchant marine Union Castle owned, and they've got that in the Royal Navy Museum in Portsmouth, so you can actually go and see that. So that's evidence that that ship did exist. It isn't just on the internet. It did exist, and it is there, and those people did go down, and that cup is proof. They also recovered 2 plates, dinner plates, from Union Castle, and there's a military wing of a hospital in Birmingham, and the military wing there has a staff canteen, and that is called the Glenheart Castle canteen, and those 2 plates are there. I think they're on display. I don't think they're using them. They're on display there in a cabinet case, I believe. So if you ever get to go to a Birmingham hospital and you want to find out where the Glenheart Castle canteen is, go there and have a look at the plates, and there's evidence that it really did happen. So there you go. So there's an example I've given you with regards to people who are lost at sea and don't have a grave, but we still remember them, and we still try our best to think about them, and I'll be doing that on Remembrance Sunday tomorrow. Right, so to finish this off now, what I've decided to do is I've written a poem, so I'm going to read the poem out to you now, and then I'll let you get going. I kept up enough of your time. So here we go, and it's called Lost at Sea. In tempest roar and cannon's fire, where waves of sorrow rise and tire, brave souls entwined with fate's decree, they vanish deep, yet I will see. No stone to mark the silent grave, their whispers haunt their ocean brave. In every tide and every breeze, we hold their names, they ride the seas. I see you spoken with each wave, memories linger, hearts behave. Though lost beneath the billowing grey, their spirits shine, they guide our way. I see you. So there we are. Hope you enjoyed that. Made it as short as possible. Now look after yourselves, all right, and someone else. God bless.